Hello, friends. How are you all? Welcome to Ingrolit. Today, we are going to discuss a story from Telangana State Intermediate First Year English textbook, and the story's name is The Dinner Party, which was written by Mona Gardner. Let us know few more details about Mona Gardner first. So, you could see here in the picture, she is Mona Gardner. She was an American author, and The Dinner Party, our present lesson, actually published in the Saturday Review of Literature in 1941. The story, The Dinner Party, takes place in India. So, the dinner party, this story's place, that means where this story happened, that is, happened in India. During that time, it was a British colony. That means Britishers were ruling over India. In that times, in those times, this story happened. Britain ruled over India for a long period. Everybody knows that. In the story, a colonel and a girl argue about how a woman acts in a crisis. Crisis means a problem. Okay. That means any problem, calamity, such times, how a girl would act or respond. About that, a colonel and a girl were arguing. Okay. At that time, this story has taken. So, really, it is a wonderful story, expresses the power of women. Okay, let's continue this. The Dinner Party by Mona Gardner. The country is India. So, the story happened in India. Colonial officer means here a British officer and his wife are giving a large dinner party. So, a colonial officer and his wife were giving dinner party. They are seated with their guests, and there was a big table. Okay, very, very big table is there, and they have sat along with their guests. And their guests are army officers, are their guests, and government attaches and their wives. That means army officers, government officials, and their wives, and a visiting American naturalist also presented there. These are all guests. In their spacious dining room, which has a bare marble floor, open rafters, and wide glass doors opening onto a veranda. So, colonial officer means we know that British officer, and attaches. So, attaches means nothing but persons who works in embassies. Okay, attaches. And we know naturalist. Naturalist means one who studies living beings. He is called naturalist. So, these are all guests. Okay, so the colonial officer and his wife are giving the large party to the guests, and the attended guests are the army officers and the officers who are working in the embassies and their wives, and one American naturalist. Okay, yes, and that dinner party is happening in a spacious dining room, and marble floor is there, and it was bare. That means nothing was covered on that, and open rafters. Okay, rafters means we can understand here. We know that long logs, okay, which we could see on the top. That is nothing but open rafters, and wide glass doors are there opening onto veranda. Okay, so wide glass doors also we could see on the, then they are opened to the veranda. A spirited discussion. Okay, spirited means an energetic discussion is going on there. Springs up between a young girl who insists that the women have outgrown the jumping on a chair at the sight of a mouse era, and a colonel who says that they haven't. So, here one very interesting discussion is going on between a young girl, okay, and an officer, okay, a colonel. So, between these two, one discussion is going on. The discussion is between a young girl and a colonel, and the young girl demanding and forcefully saying that So the women have changed a lot now. Okay, outgrown means so they have become faster and they have changed their attitude and all. Once maybe when they have seen a mouse or some cockroach or something, they may jump on the chair and they may make loud screams and all. But now, not like that. Women became stronger. Like this, the young girl is arguing. A woman's unfailing reactions in any crisis, the colonel says, is to scream. And while a man may feel like it, he has that ounce more of nerve control than a woman has, and that last ounce is what counts. So one colonel saying like this, what he says. So whatever you said, that's wrong, and definitely woman is very scared of all the things, and she can't face any crisis. Definitely at any type of crisis, her reaction is to scream. Scream means nothing but just she has to say loudly. Okay, she cries loudly, shout loudly, like this he said. And if you see there, the girl's bravery is very little, and definitely men are braver than women, and the courage. So if you see the courage, definitely men have more courage, like this he had said. Okay, so next, if you see, the American does not join the argument. That means the naturalist did not join the argument, but he is just observing the guess. As he looks, he sees a strange expression come over the face of the hostess. That means the colonial officer, that means the colonial officer and his wife are giving this party, right? And that hostess, suddenly he observed some strange expression on her face. Something happened. He could not understand. But suddenly he had expressed, she has um, expressed some sudden change in her face that was observed by the naturalist. She is staring straight ahead. So she was looking straightly. She was looking straightly suddenly. Her muscles contracting slightly. So her muscles, that means her hands and all, she was taking very closely. We don't know, something happened. Maybe she had seen something or she had felt something. So that is nothing but she has been scared with something. That's why only her muscles are contracting slightly. With a slight gesture, she summons the native boy standing behind her chair and whispers him. So slight gesture means just with a light movements, okay, light body movements. She did not move very freely. Just she moved a little. She gave very little movement with the hand, and she ordered the native boy. That means the Indian boy. She called him. She ordered him, who is nearby him. She called him, come near, like that. And when he came very near to her, and she whispered to him. That means she said something in his ear. The boy's eyes widened. Suddenly, what she has said, we don't know. The naturalist also did not know what happened, but he is observing that. And that boy's eyes widened. That boy's eyes became bigger. He quickly leaves the room. Suddenly, he left the room very quickly. Of the guests, none except the American notices this or sees the boy place a bowl of milk on the veranda just outside the open doors. Then, no one in the guests observed it except our naturalist. So, only the American naturalist noticed the hostess' reactions and what she had summoned to the native boy, what she had ordered to the native boy, and this scene he had seen. Then he observed the native boy, and the native boy placed a bowl of milk on the veranda just outside the open doors. The American comes to with a start. So at that time, the American had understood. Comes to with a start means Then he had understood that definitely there is something happened. In India, milk in a bowl means only one thing: bait for a snake. So in India, how the snakes are captured means they keep the bowl of milk there, and definitely the snake would come to drink the milk. Like that, it is a bait. Bowl in a milk in a bowl, it means it's a bait for the snake. He realizes there must be a cobra in the room. He understood that there is a cobra in the room. He thought that maybe the hostess had seen a cobra in the dining room, and that's why only he had called the native boy, and she said everything to him. Then she arranged milk in a bowl in the outside of the veranda. He looks up at the rafters. So he looked up, and on the supporting logs for the roof, they are called rafters. And he looked there, but nothing is there. The likeliest place, but they are bare. But they are bare means nothing is there. Three corners of the room are empty. So three sides he had observed, corners of the room he had observed, those are empty. And in the fourth, the servants are waiting to serve the next course. So on the fourth side, the servants are waiting, and they want to serve the next round, um, whatever the items are there. There is only one place left under the table. So then he had got one doubt. So there is only one place left. What is that? That is the dining table where they have been sitting and eating. Okay, that is the only one place. His first impulse is to jump back and warn the others. So, what he thought, first he thought that impulse means sudden desire. What was the sudden desire he had got it? He wanted to jump back suddenly and he wanted to warn others. Snake is there under the table, go away from here. Like this, he thought of saying them. But he knows the commotion would frighten the cobra into striking. So, commotion means noise. If he does like that, definitely the snake or the cobra gets frightened, and definitely it will bite some people. That's why he did not make any noise. He doesn't want to do any noise. Striking means attracting attention. So he speaks quietly. So he is speaking now. Quickly he is speaking. The tone of his voice so arresting that it sobers everyone. So sobers means made serious. So the naturalist had started talking very seriously. So the tone what he was speaking, that had stopped all the discussions of everyone came, and it made the situation serious. So next we could understand, we are going for the next page. I want to know just what control everyone at this table has. So now he is telling that I want to know who has great control on the table. Like this he had started. I will count to 300, that's 5 minutes, and not one of you is to move a muscle. Those who move will forfeit 50 rupees. Ready? Forfeit means lose as a punishment. So then he had made a clever plan, and according to that plan, he is speaking like this. And who have the control now at this table? I want to see. I will count 300. In 5 minutes, I will count, and whoever moves a muscle, that means whoever moves from here, their body, and those who move, they have to pay 50 rupees as the punishment. Are you ready? Like this, he had said. The 20 people sit like stone images while he counts. So Then the 20 people are there nearly on the dining table, at the dining table, and they all like stone images. They simply sat there. That's all. Okay. No one just made any movement. He is saying 280. Went out the corner of his eye. He sees the cobra emerge and make for the bowl of milk. Screams ring out as he jumps to slam the veranda door safely shut. So just he was looking at the entrance where the milk has kept, and the cobra just emerged. Emerge means nothing but just to come out. Just it went out of the dining room and just it went to the veranda at the bowl. Then he immediately ran towards the entrance, and just he slammed the veranda door safely. Slam means nothing but close. Okay, closed the veranda door safely shut. You were right, Colonel, the host exclaims. A man has just shown us an example of perfect control. Then the host said like this. So Jen screams on seeing the snake there. Actually, the woman and all, and everyone is just jumping and saying like this. And you were right, Colonel. The host said. Okay, the host means we know that the colonial officer who is giving the party. He said to the colonel like this: "You were right, Colonel. A man has just shown us an example of perfect control." Like this, he had said. Okay, yes, you are correct. See that American naturalist, how he had made us all uh, silent and without movement, and he had saved us from that cobra. So, really, he is the best example for that perfect control. Like this, he praised the naturalist. Just a minute, the American says. But the American naturalist said, "Wait a minute, sir." And he turned to his hostess. Then he went to the hostess and he asked her, "Mrs. Vines." So, Mrs. Vines, that means the host name is Vines. That means the colonial officer name is Vines. That's why his wife is called here as Mrs. Vines. How did you know that Cobra was in the room? So, please tell me, how did you know that Cobra was in the room? Because you only informed to the native boy to keep the milk in a bowl outside. Please tell me, how did you find it? Then a faint smile lights up the woman's face as she replies. Faint smile means a weak smile. Just she she smiled in a less way, and she replied like this. Because it was crawling across my foot. So what she had said, that cobra was on her foot. It was crawling on her foot. Then she understood that there is a snake. Now we have to say who have the perfect control and who is the best example for perfect control, man or woman. Definitely, according to this story, women have the best perfect control. Okay, so this story had proved it. So, whatever it may be, based on the situation, whether the man or woman, they have to face it, they have to think cleverly, and they should overcome the problems whatever they get, whether it is a crisis or the problems come in our life, whatever it may be. Okay, okay, this is the story, the dinner party. I hope you enjoyed this story. So I too enjoyed this story. Really a nice story it is. Gardner had expressed in a nice way, and till the last line, she could not tell us the secret how the hostess had found the snake. Okay, really, it is a very attractive and interesting story for us. I hope it would be useful for you. Thanks for watching.